2022 saw another big year in American politics, from the midterms to the rise and fall of Donald Trump, January 6 hearings, and a number of social and economic issues. So what is Joe Biden's scorecard for the year, and what can we expect in 2023? Joining me now live is Professor Joe Siracusa, political analyst at Curtin University. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. What do you see as being the key issues last year, and how did Joe Biden handle them?
Happy New Year, Danica. Look, Joe Biden had a very interesting year. Before the midterms, most Americans didn't like him or approve of him, and 87% of Americans thought he was taking them in the wrong direction. After the midterms, which he secured it in the Senate and lost the House, the majority of Americans still didn't like him, and 76% of Americans thought he was heading in the wrong direction. So he's kind of a bit of a mystery here, but he did just enough to survive and to derail his detractors from dumping him in 2024. So the Democratic Party, for good or ill, is stuck with Joe Biden for 2024, unless he has a severe health issue. The man is 80 years old now, but he seems to be doing all right. And so I think in terms of domestic policy, I think Biden probably gets a C minus. I mean, I think the January 6th committee hearings went on too long. It didn't accomplish very much, continued to divide the American people, which is no good at all. Now, in the area of foreign policy, we had a war in Ukraine, which may have been stopped before February 24th. We had the demise of policies in Afghanistan. Actually, it's my pet peeve. He's so little. I mean, he could have just stayed in Afghanistan for a while longer. Instead, President Biden turned his back on Afghanistan, and now 20 million Afghan women and girls have been denied an education, workplace, and all the rest of it. And so they've been returned to the Stone Ages. That's absolutely unacceptable for people who are claiming that human rights are the essence of their foreign policy. We have nuclear threats from Russia, which is probably serious because they like the idea of tactical nuclear weapons. Iran is on a war footing. North Korea is more on a war footing. And China will go to war over Taiwan if we make a move in that direction. So I think the president's foreign policy is a D minus. His domestic policy so far has been a C minus. He hasn't done very well, but he's done just enough to survive. Interestingly, last year and this year, I don't expect to see much of Donald Trump. I mean, yes, he controls a lot of the apparatus of the Republican Party, but I think in the last year he's become a bit of a punchline between the launch of his 2024 campaign, and now all he's done is launch digital trading cards. I mean, that's not very much. And he's looking at all kinds of legal problems, none of which is going to exclude him from politics. But I think the majority of Americans, good Americans who want to vote Republican or conservative or whatever, they just don't want a person with all that kind of baggage. So they might turn to Ron DeSantis or somebody else. And of course, America's had its problems with gun shootings. We do nothing about it. Yeah. We have the haves and the have-nots, which we do nothing about. So, you know, America must look like a basket case to a lot of people in Australia. And in some areas, they can't do much or won't do much, and I couldn't tell you why.